Don Global presents
the DG Recruit podcast on everything headhunting and recruitment. Achieve the life and career you envision. What's up, game changers? It's your host, Don, founder of Don Global, the headhunting and career coaching company helping you achieve the life and career you envision.
In recruitment, it's all about how you connect the dots between actions and results. In this podcast, I'm going to walk you through what the KPI breakdown and flow is so you can see how every action you do should connect to your result, your intended result. So let's start off. I wanted to paint the picture. It's really 3 steps to do deals. Number 1 is you need to pull jobs. I'm assuming you are running your own desk for the most part. If not, obviously your BD person, your client development person, is doing that job, and they need to be doing a very good job, or else you don't have enough jobs to work on. But I am a full desk recruiter from day one, as in I've only ever recruited on my own jobs for my own placements. So I never had any BD support. Nobody fed me roles. Nobody gave me clients. So I can only talk to you about running a full desk because that's all I've ever done. I have never, again, worked in a split desk model, as that's called. So let's talk about full desk permanent recruitment, because again, that's what I do. So you can obviously tweak this advice to fit your own situation, but I can only, again, speak authoritatively about my own model, which is full desk recruitment, as in I do the client side, I do the candidate side, I do everything. I run my own desk. So the first step is you got to pull jobs. Assuming you're running your own desk, jobs don't just fly out of the ocean. You actually have to go out and fish for those clients. So the first step is job pulling. The second step is interviews. That's the second most obvious sort of visionary KPI is interviews. You can't do deals without interviews. You need interviews to do deals. So interviews is the next big KPI category. And the third thing is deals. I look at that as a KPI as well, because you want to hit X amount of deals per month that will lead to X amount of deals per year. So these are the 3 main KPIs. Now, amongst these 3 main KPIs, there are a number of smaller breakdown pieces to achieve these KPIs. So let's talk about jobs pulled. What KPIs go into leading to the results of jobs being pulled? Because again, jobs being pulled is a KPI, but it's also a result. So it's a result of some other input factor. So let's go through the factors, the inputs that then create you some jobs being pulled. So the first one is managers added. How do you have deals if you don't got managers to submit these candidates to? So the first thing is managers added. These people need to be decision makers for the most part. These people need to be people who can make decisions on hiring, who are responsible for hiring, who are going to look at your send out, look at the candidates that you've been sending them, express interest, and engage you. So this is likely a hiring manager. This is not an HR person. Again, an HR person will just simply tell you, go away. Do not message me. I'm going to block you. And or they just block you. So I'm talking about hiring managers added. This is a KPI that when I first started out in the business, mine was 30 a day. That was insane. Most of my colleagues did 10 a day. That was what our managers wanted us to do, 10 a day. I wanted bigger, faster, better results. So I did 30 a day. So that's what I did at the beginning because I want a way more prospects to hit up. I don't just want 10 a day. That's only 50 a week. I want 150 a week. That's 150 people I can email. That's 150 people I can cold call the next day after I add them to my system. So managers added is critical. Then the next step is MPC sendouts, most placeable candidate sendouts. Now that I got all these great managers to send candidates to, let's start spamming out these candos. So that's the next step is you got to hit a certain amount of sendouts per week. Now, again, send-outs per week, it's up to how many managers you have in your system. Because if you're selling nationally, why, that could be thousands of messages a week. If you're selling regionally, you're only trying to send small batches in, let's say, New Jersey, then that could be, 200 managers, right? So it just depends what your market looks like, how it's spread out. Are you covering a nation, or are you covering a regional account and strategy. So that's another KPI is you have to have a number of send outs, as in marketing prospecting documents via email. That's what a send out is. Now you might call that something else. Everybody calls things differently in this business. But when I say send out, I mean it's an email prospecting note that then has a profile, most likely some sort of story, and you're sending it to hiring managers per week. Now, it could also be some of the other things I've talked about. Let's say a networking event. If I'm hosting a networking event, I would like people to come to, I would obviously message my clients and let them know such and such is happening at so-and-so time. Of course, it has to be within a regional bounds. I'm not going to send a New Jersey networking event to a Massachusetts person. That is just purely obtuse. You need to be very targeted. And that does count as a send out as well. So it doesn't just have to be a most placeable candidate send out. It could also be like informing them of market data, of compensation guides, of market updates to the industry, whatever makes you look as a subject matter expert. That's cool. That's counted as a very high quality send out. Another KPI that matters is cold calling. Obviously, once you get all the managers into your systems, you got to call these people. That is how you get the magic to happen. You got to call them, let them know, oh my goodness, I'm so glad I caught you. I got this amazing blah, blah, blah person, and I can't wait to walk you through their background. Blah, 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 AIR method. Acknowledge, ignore, resume. Boom, boom, boom. Sell, sell, sell. Happy, happy, happy. All right. The next one is D job chasing. Now, in my world, a D job is a job that I know exists. This could be from a lead from a candidate. This could be from a lead on the internet, as in Joe Schmo is hiring and it's listed on the internet. Or it could just be hearsay. I just know they're hiring. I'm going to assign a D job to the right hiring manager, and that person is going to get it from me. I'm going to chase down that door until the door breaks. So that's D job chasing. Every single week, you should chase a certain amount of D jobs, because obviously D jobs can convert into C jobs. C jobs are a just generalist rec. It's not exclusive. It doesn't have time slots, but it's a genuine rec that you now have, right? So I want to chase my D jobs. So there should be a KPI set for that. Now, obviously, all of this done is under the umbrella of specialization. I don't want people sending accounting people to scientists. That makes no sense. You should only be going after one specific niche so that you can focus your efforts and dominate that particular niche. So it goes without saying, all of this is within one niche. You're not going all over the map. You're focusing on one niche, and this is how you'll pull jobs. The whole point of pulling jobs is so that you have business to work on. Ideally, you want 4 new jobs a week. This could be 2 jobs with one hiring manager. This could be 4 general jobs that are just given to you to work on. It doesn't have to be highly committed. I'm not asking for the most high quality commitment on a job. I'm just asking for 4 new jobs a week. That should keep you plenty busy, because if you can even manage to fill half of that or even one of those, you are making bank. You are making good money per month. So if you could just do 4 jobs a week, that's signing up at least 2 clients a week. That's a lot, right? You need to get new clients to sign on board. You need to really be making like a sustainable pipeline of clients. So let's say this week you meet 6 clients, and then next week 2 of them convert into giving you jobs. Perfect. You're halfway there, right? Like you just need to get 4 jobs a week. Again, it could be 3 jobs from one client, and boom, you're that much closer to your KPI. Ideally, the golden standard is 4 a week. Obviously, once you become a global top biller, it doesn't have to be 4 a week. 4 a week is just to get started, so you have enough bandwidth, enough to work on, enough scale to at least get a certain amount of deals done. So 4 jobs a week is amazing. At the very minimum, you have to get 1 job a week. If you don't even have 4 jobs out of a month to work on, I mean, really, what are you going to profit off of? So you really, really need at least 2 to 3 jobs per week. Golden standard is 4. Now, next KPI that we talked about is interviews. Let's talk about the KPIs that go into hitting your interview targets. So a good interview target that I was always benchmarked on as a global top producer is 8 a week. Now, I was able to become a very high level producer even at 8 interviews a week because my hit rate was very, very tight. Like I did not have a lot of candidates that did not fit the bill. Like if I represented a candidate, that candidate was going to get placed. So when I say 8 interviews a week, I mean you are submitting bang on target candidates. You're not bullshitting. You're not putting in shitty ass candidates to hit 8 a week and then realize they're just shit later. No. I'm talking about very placeable candidates that are having very good interviews. 8 a week. So that could be 4 candidates with 2 interviews each. Again, when you're highly focused, that is easy to achieve because your candidates and clients are looking for the same person. So you can use the same candidate for multiple jobs. That could be one candidate going to 4 first stage interviews. Again, I don't care. As long as it's 8 interviews a week, you are sitting pretty, my friend, for a monster year. At least $500,000 in billing. You can bet on that. If you can do 8 interviews a week, assuming your rates are at least 20%, assuming your salaries are at least $100,000, you are going to make at least $500,000 in billing, my friend. So again, the bigger the numbers, the better. But when you do 8 interviews a week, assuming quality is very, very tight, then you are sitting in pole position. You're sitting in a very good spot. So how do you achieve 8 interviews a week? Well, number 1 is you got to send out ads. You can't get candidates without advertising. So you got to advertise for your ads. That could be LinkedIn posts. That could be LinkedIn recruiter seat to get ad postings. That could be whatever. I don't know. I don't know what people do these days. I personally don't have to do this because every single day I post a lot on the internet. So people don't need me to post ads, and I don't want to deal with job response. But that's not the same for technical markets. Technical markets, not like the one I do now. Now I recruit agency recruiters. That's not a market that you can copy. You need to do what's right for your market. So for most technical markets, you absolutely need to advertise on the generic sites that your customer base is using. That could be Career Builder for all I know. Again, you got to go where your people are, where you know these folks are hanging out. So that could be LinkedIn. That could be some scientific job board, whatever the case may be. You got to find those places and make sure you are advertising your roles. Obviously, you got to message people. That means either through LinkedIn, either through email, either through text messaging, or cold calling. Again, you got to cold call and you got to headhunt. So calling clients, calling candidates per day should take you at least 2 hours. I mean, at least 2 hours. So it could be 4 hours. It could be 3 hours you're spending on the phone. But especially when you're just starting, you should be hammering those phones. You should be having your water right next to you, ready to hydrate, because it's going to be a long day and you're going to be wasting a lot of saliva. So let's go. You're going to be headhunting people. You're going to be cold calling people. You're going to be calling and calling and calling till your face turns blue. And you're going to be calling people over and over and over again. You might not get them on the first call. Call them again. Call them again. That is the game. You have to go and get after these people pretty darn hard. Golden loop. I've talked about golden loop before. Golden loop is when you hit up the people that you talked to 1 month ago, 2-3 weeks ago, 1 month ago, right? You hit up those people. Yo, what's up? How's it going? It's been a while since we caught up. Hey, I got this new rec. What's going on? Blah, blah. Do you know someone? Referral pulling, just catching up with your known network, golden looping. Obviously referrals, like I said, ask everyone for referrals. And ultimately selling. You got to sell these recs some way, somehow. And of course, as you go through all of these steps, naturally, you're going to get closer and closer to the ultimate KPI that we all want, which is numbers of deals per month. Oh man, we want those deals, don't we? And so again, I think it's just adding up all of these components and how do they connect with each other? How much of X do you need to do to then convert into how much of Y, which then you can lead to Z. Right? So that's how all of these deals are being done, is that it starts off with your pure inputs, and then you have to control the process as you get along. And what I mean, like I said earlier, by this control is that you're controlling the quality. You're dealing with candidates that are higher than the average. Because look, clients aren't stupid. They're not going to pay you a massive fee for a subpar, middle of the road candidate. There just are nothing, there's really no mandatory requirements for a client to hire someone you found them, because they can either hire from another recruiter or they can just say no. So you have to make it irresistible. You have to present product, in this case candidates, that are so darn good that the client is going to be eager to pay your fee. And not only that, your candidate has to be closed. Your candidate has to be serious about leaving. They can't just be open to an interview, and it may be, yes, at the outset, they're relatively passive and open to considering something new. But again, you have to play your odds, where many times I've represented candidates that aren't ready to make a move, but we knew that if the right price came along, if all things were lining up, they would go for it. Otherwise, again, why bother, right? Why bother? So again, the goal is to work with strong clients that you know your candidates are going to be interested in. Get the candidates interested, whet their appetites, push them through the process, cajole them, manage them, work with them like the sheep that you need to herd. Because again, candidates will try to pull out last minute. I mean, how many times has this happened? Candidates don't want to go for the interview. You need to sell them into taking the interview and just giving it a shot. I mean, seriously, what do they have to lose, right? We really care about them and their future, and they're not advocating for themselves if they don't go ahead and put themselves in a position to at least try to win, try to gain something from that experience. So that comes from the heart. And I think clients and candidates can feel when you are working from your heart versus just hitting these KPIs to hit them. Because I will tell you, there is nothing worse than reaching KPI targets for vanity purposes. And I know, yes, sometimes you work under highly penalizing environments where you are expected to hit these unrealistic KPIs, and many people cheat the system, whether egregiously or lightly, they are cheating. And this is how you lead to your own time being wasted. I'd rather not hit my KPIs. I'd rather disappoint my managers than push stupid vanity metrics through. If the candidate is not genuinely closable, then I will not mess around, because it's not going to work and my time is valuable. I'd rather make a few more phone calls and get the right person that makes sense and that's going to convert my energy, my effort into the dollars and the cents that I so desperately want to see show up in my account. So I think at the end of the day, it's all about organizing your day and staying on task and creating the KPIs for yourself to adjust to. Because once you get your 4 jobs a week, then yes, the next step is hitting your interview targets, right? So everything is like rolling on and off. Once you get 4 recs, you don't have to go and get another 8 recs. You need to start filling those 4 recs. So it's this juggling act. It's constantly switching what you're doing week 1 versus week 2 versus week 3 versus week 4. This is called adapting to the situation. So it's about remaining nimble and also putting in the work, because yes, you have to build your network over time. And obviously over the years, you will have more referrals coming to you. You will have a bigger golden loop that you can circle back to and check in with, and you are okay. And it's just going to kind of take care of itself. And you'll have to do less and less work over time, just replenishing your Rolodex instead of building it from scratch, because at that point, you're going to have your fingers and toes in the sand with the network and people will know who you are. And that's a great thing. Till then, we all have to hustle and bust our butts because we're trying to win market share. And until you really have enough market share, there is no stop to that grind, but realize that you're building yourself up to a bigger and brighter future. With that being said, I hope this was a helpful podcast to you to keep that fire burning, to keep focused on your KPIs, see how all the dots connect with each other, understand your KPI flow more, and rehash the importance of hitting those metrics that we know are so important for you to make the rewards that will bring you joy and help you achieve your goals that you set out to accomplish. If you enjoyed this podcast, as always, drop us a line, please. And do not hesitate to send me a note to dondon@dgrecruit.com. I always love hearing from you on the different questions and topics that you'd like me to cover. As always, it's great to know that this podcast is making a difference in your practice. So don't forget to rate us. Thanks so much, and I'll see you soon on the next podcast.